is Sabrina Fabi. I'm a board-certified dermatologist practicing in San Diego, California.
And I'm Dr. Steven Dayan, a board-certified facial plastic surgeon in Chicago, Illinois.
And today, Steven covered something that's been extremely interesting and something we've been researching for the last almost 2.5 years, which is the psychosocial dermal axis.
So this is something we've been talking about and working on for the last 2.5 years, and we've kept it quiet, under wraps. It started as pillow talk, and look what it's evolved into.
As most amazing things in our life have started as, like Mateo, for instance.
But I think what's interesting, and we've talked about this before, is there's a need to connect today. You know, the social COVID put us all into these virtual worlds, and there's benefits to the virtual world, but what's missing is that connection. Humans love to connect. They love to thrive when they're with each other. And through our skin, we communicate with each other.
And there's no doubt that, you know, the reason why we look so good when we're in love, I mean, everyone is like comments on people like, why does she look so good? And it may not always be her neuromodulator and her filler. It could be because she's in love. And so we wanted to capitalize on, like, why has no one capitalized on that molecule that makes that individual look so good when they're breastfeeding or when they're in love? And so taking from that.
Wait, what molecule are you talking about?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin. Now, I remember when you were pregnant, you were gorgeous. You still are gorgeous, of course. But nothing's more gorgeous than a pregnant woman.
But something that I noticed when I was pregnant is that I looked younger. Like I had like almost more of like a little, like a baby face, right? And so you look beautiful, but you also look a little bit more youthful, right? And so in a very natural way, because this is something that you're intrinsically creating. So it's not artificially being injected or induced. It's something that is natural part of our epidermis and dermis.
And oxytocin is actually synthesized and released from the skin. And that was really interesting. When we figured that out, we're like, well, how do we leverage the power of oxytocin so people can use it throughout as a topical?
Right. And so we know that there are receptors both in the keratinocytes and also in the fibroblasts, which are what we always talk about when it comes to collagen and elastin. It's that cell that creates your hyaluronic acid, collagen and elastin. How can we bind to the receptor in the fibroblast, basically with something we're intrinsically already creating to uptick and make that fibroblast work stronger, better?
And the crazy thing about oxytocin is that it's got a positive feedback loop.
Right.
So while you have all these neurotransmitters in your skin, that's why we call it the psychosocial dermal axis, the skin-brain connection. You have all these neurotransmitters like melatonin, dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, but oxytocin is unique because as it goes up in the skin, there's a positive feedback loop with your hypothalamus and more gets released throughout your body. And oxytocin is a known anti-inflammatory, a known antioxidant. It improves skin aging, reduces skin aging. It also helps for tissue wound healing, but has all these incredible pro-social benefits that we all experience and know of.
Which is why, and something that if you really, it's like what we take from our everyday practice, right? Like you start to wonder, is it because she looks good that she feels better? Or is it because she feels better that she looks good? And so it's similar, and there's a lot of parallels with when you're in love. Like when you touch, and then you're in love, right? Is it because you've increased that molecule at a very local level, at the level of the skin, that makes that person look dewy, glowy, and radiant? Or is it because that molecule is also increased in the brain, that that person is emitting more confidence and self-esteem, like we saw in the trial, that is what makes her be perceived as more attractive and looking good? So there's a lot there. It's really layered.
What I did today, and I presented our data
Right.
from our clinical trial of using oxytocin type product topically to see the impact it had on appearance and also pro-social parameters like trust, attractiveness, confidence, and even sexual satisfaction. And what we showed was quite profound.
Right. We found exactly what we find when someone's in love. When you induce that oxytocin at the level of the skin, which our molecule, which is a phytopeptide, what you find is very similar things. You feel that your partner looks more attractive. You have tighter intimacy with that partner. Others perceive you as more confident, more attractive. In fact, it was like on 5 out of the 8 different
Statistically significant in first impressions.
First impressions by others, right? And then partners perceived their significant other as more attractive.
Yep, and they found them more trustworthy too.
So we were able to basically simulate the factors that go up when one is in love.
So I think to bring this full circle, I think the future of aesthetic medicine is not just improving skin quality or attractiveness, which we know how to do that. and we can increase collagen, we can increase elastin. But the first order, that's already taken. We can make people look better. The second order is to improve confidence levels and self-esteem, which we've done. But now here's the third order, and this is the future of aesthetic medicine, and this is behind the psychosocial dermal axis, and that's to improve pro-social behaviors, to improve us beyond just how we look, beyond our confidence, but to improve the interactions we have with others, and that's what this molecule does.
And that's on leveraging on your other emotional organ, which is essentially your skin. The skin is an emotional organ. In dermatology, we've always talked about it. When you have atopic dermatitis or you have psoriasis, people find that they're more depressed. Are they more depressed though because they see the skin lesions, or because those skin lesions locally are increasing neurotransmitters at the level of the skin that make you more depressed or anxious? Can we do something in reverse? Can we put something topically on our skin that can have this effect? And is it local, or is it because it's doing something to the brain? We don't know, but we definitely
So I
saw
think
it
I
in
would
our
just
trial.
leave it as what you just said. Skin is an emotional organ.
Yes, and mine is very emotional.